I'm great.
Hello.
And today, our special guest, Mona Smith. Hi, welcome.
Yay, Mona. I love Mona.
I love you all.
She's going to be talking with us about the purpose of the balance wheel. Mona's a coach and empowers people on their personal journeys and achieving their goals, dreams, and purposes. And we'll have a link below so you can get some info on her. But Mona, just introduce yourself really quick, please, and tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I am a true Washingtonian. I think I've only been out of the state maybe 3 months, and I'm going to be 56 years old this month. I'm not afraid to share my age. No. And I have 2 adult sons, 26 and 24, and the youngest is 3/4 away from graduating the University of Washington in chemical engineering. And I live in the other one is following the path, I'll say, of electrical. He'd like to someday own his own electrical company. And I'm local in Snohomish, Washington for me. So I think I'll just be right there. Journey of Purpose is the name of my company for coaching.
Yay, you're close to me.
Yes.
Me too. Me too.
And Danny and I think we're really close, aren't we? We're probably the closest, aren't we, Danny?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yay. I see a coffee date coming up.
Yeah.
I love driving over
Sure.
here and hanging out with us. I know you do, don't you? Wonderful.
Yeah, we could come Wonderful's way. We could carpool it.
Oh, yeah. You're
All the way to Bellevue, right?
Wonderful, are you?
Not too far.
Are you
I'm just
Bothell,
over
or-
here on the east side.
I was raised in Woodinville, Woodinville and Duval.
Yeah.
So I'm
What
used to
about-
the whole, nothing, how do I say this? I'm comfortable with any location, I should say. So, yeah.
Woo.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, ladies, what do you have on top of mind this morning? Wonderful.
Oh my goodness. Balance is like, I know it's a word that's been used plenty of times. It was really popularized in the early 2000s, but balance is still such an important aspect of life. Like, it's not something that just happened and then it gets better and it's good. I really love, I haven't done a balance wheel in a while, and I really want to, it's perfect too, because we're in the early September, and I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, I want to end the year real strong with this balance, because I think that I get really off kiltered. I've warned these ladies before. I'm like, listen, ladies, you got to just reel me back in, because I get so hyper focused that I forget to eat, or it's like, oh my gosh, it's 4 o'clock already. And, I started work at like 8 a.m. And so I really am very intentional about my balance. Like, every morning I have to have that routine of prayer and meditation. It sets up my day. And when I don't, oh my gosh, it's like, who am I? What am I doing? So I'm really excited to talk about it on the 3rd day of the month. So yay for balance.
Yeah.
3rd day already.
I
Awesome.
know.
How about you, Danny?
Well, balance is a word that came to me years and years and years and years and years ago. So I've been working on it for a very long time. But the word itself, like balance, it just became this huge concept in my psyche. And so I love the term balance. It just means so much to me. And so I had a session with Mona, and I want to show you my balance. Well, I don't know if it's going to show up. Do you see?
Oh, yeah.
Look, there's only 2 sections I have to work on. And you know me, I have 4 businesses, and so I'm very, very busy. And I felt like maybe that isn't very healthy. And even though that's another subject altogether, I found out that I was doing really, really great and felt really great about 6 different parts of my life. And I just feel like I'm doing great. I'm busy, but I'm doing great. I used to be, I'm busy, but I feel overwhelmed, but now it's like, I'm busy, but I'm doing great. And I will share the 2 areas that I will work on is play and exercise. But if I could make exercise play, So I
Yeah.
tried exercise and play together, as that's like my Disneyland, really, honestly. When I work out and make the time to work out in the morning, or at least before noon, then it's just like I have achieved, like, or climbing, going to Disneyland. I don't know. But so to do like careful movement and play together, and to know I'm doing great was all because of Mona. She spent some time with me, and I realized I'm doing so much better than I thought I was. And what a great mindset change. Has nothing to do with spirituality. I just wanted to brag on Mona a bit.
Well, we all know in coaching, though, too, that it is a lot about the client and what's inside of them and what comes out through a coach. So I appreciate the kudos, but I also want to let everybody know that when you're coaching a client, it's about the client and what's already in their heart. It just needs to be brought out. And look at her little heart.
Thank you, Mona. You're so sweet. See how sweet Mona is? All right, good.
Love that.
How about you, Melissa?
I can't wait to meet with you, Mona.
Yeah. It'll be fun.
And that's my top of mind right now, is I'm going through a phase in my life where life balance is like all I think about these days, because I went through a thing where I was just like work. And all the other aspects of my life were suffering. And so I'm super excited to see my pie chart with you, Mona.
Yeah. Yes.
On how that is. I recently did a pie chart similar through a company that I've been working with called Ula. And it's an app, so you can have kind of all of your goals and your things on a little app, so you can keep track, which I love, because we have our phones next to us 24/7, right?
Yeah.
But that's just my top of mind, is just keeping everything balanced. I just kind of recently went through a little bit of like a hump of depression, and was like, what is going on? I am so grateful. I have wonderful friends, wonderful support community, a wonderful family. Like, everything's just awesome. What is going on with me? Why am I feeling this way? And what I realized was my life was just off balance. So I'm just super excited to hear from you today. So tell us a little bit about your business and the whole balance wheel, and what you have going on, Mona.
Well, let's see. What I like to say is I am solution focused certified. And solution focused means that we focus on a solution. We don't look at the problems that people think they have, or that they're coming to the coach with. We're looking for a solution. And I'm going to meet the client where they're at present, and we're going to move forward. We're going to look at possibilities, dreams, things they want to work on, maybe things they want to add into their life. And so that's where the certification and the coaching comes from. The balance wheel is a common, I will say, exercise that a lot of coaches will represent or present to either a new client or an established client. And I like to say it's just, some people call it, I call it a balance wheel, but it can be used for life. Like we've been talking today, just balancing our life. And a lot of people like to use the balance if they're in, I'll say, a more corporate, high stressed work environment where they need to get their work, just their work alone needs to be brought in balance. And so when we do that, as I reflect on this, I look at my life and all the seasons I've gone through, up and down, positive, maybe not positive. Some were choices, some weren't. And I feel that that's truly where I'm at today, being a low life coach, is I finally have found my purpose. I love people. I love to work with people. And actually, this balance wheel is my favorite exercise, just because I love organization. I love balance. I like to see it on paper, where I'm at, where I'm going. And I like to portray that to the client, that it's all about them. It's what works for them. It's what's going to make their life better and feel happier, or whatever it is that brings joy to the client. And so that's kind of where this idea for the balance wheel comes is, like we've all said, maybe it's imbalance. Maybe we're not as happy. Maybe we feel some depression. Maybe we just feel, like I say, sometimes I just feel a little off. I can't tell you why.
Yeah.
I just feel off. And people, my friends get it. Some people look at me and say, we have no concept of what you're doing. But talking with you wonderful ladies today, I know I'm not the only one that does that. So it's just to help someone get, like we said, it could be satisfaction and greater balance is usually what people relate to the balance wheel. There's also a value wheel, which sometimes we can break off, and you'll learn about that later as we develop that. But there are other different types of wheels that we can use. And this is all about fundamentally a quick and powerful way to prioritize a client's request. And it's in coaching, it's all about the client. You meet them where they're at, you carry them through the process. And like we've talked about, it's a circle. We saw Danny's example. It actually looks like a piece of pie. We try to start off with 8 sections is what we shoot for. And it can be less, it can be more. But I think I'll stop there because I know we're going to discuss more as we go through our time together today.
Awesome. Yes, I think we have some really great questions for you today. Let's see. I think Wonderful, you're first, right? You have a question for Mona?
Oh, we can't hear you. Unmute. Oh, there you go. Unmute. Yeah, good.
Flare. Okay, my question is a perfect segue into what you just mentioned, because I am curious. What do you put on the wheel in terms of, do you have a set sections, or is it, like you were saying, really dependent on the person or what they want to work through, or or is it both? Is it like what the client wants and what you also put on there? What goes on this balance wheel?
Great question. That's a good beginning question there. Basically, the wheel is usually, if I'm, there's different ways to do a wheel. If we're in person, I will have a copy of a pie chart with 8, you can all make yourself. Anybody listening, just draw a big circle, cut it in half horizontally, vertically, and then across, and then that gives you 8 pieces. And once again, coaching is all about the client. So today, as an example, I'm not going to keep saying life or work. We're just going to pretend we're working on a life chart, because it sounds like that's kind of where we're all at. And hopefully this can, bring revelation to our listeners that are joining in today. So if you were to take that piece of paper and cut it into 8 pieces, I'm going to say to you, Wonderful, if you had your, I want you to list 8 things today that you are engaged in your life. Okay. And so you would, start naming, and there's all types of things. Some of the, common ones, and Danny can relate because she did this. We talked about it. Some of your common ones are like family, work, relationships, schooling, spirituality, church. You just come up with the 8 things. Finances is a big one that you're really engaged in your day-to-day life. And then each section of that chart, you're going to name it. It's all up to you where you place it, but we usually do it on the outside of the chart. And then once that takes form, that's kind of where we get the basis of what goes on the chart. And if we need to, sometimes people can't think of 8. We might do less, some have way more. We just kind of cut it and make it work for each client.
Okay. And now I'm really curious, because I've done them before and they already have it preset, and then you just but now empowering me to choose what I would like to work on is, I think, the piece that's the missing element, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And then once you label it, then I'm going to have you, Wonderful, look at each section. So let's just say it's family. You're going to scale each piece of that pie from 1 being a sad face, I'm not happy, or I'm not satisfied, to 10, I'm going to go party. And see, this is what Danny talks about, how she was doing great. She marked high in some areas. And once again, that's all personal. You might think 5 is high. Danny might think, 5, I'm in the dumpster. I need to be a 9, but that's all irrelevant, and it's all very personal. So that's when your chart is complete to that point is, and you can shade in the parts. If you said a 1 in your mind, you would just picture 1, 8, 10. So there we go. We've completed to that point your balance wheel.
So cool. I'm ready. I'm in. Where do I sign up, Mona?
I love the balance wheel. I just think it's really fun. I don't think coaching has to be doom and gloom and sad. Some people, and it does bring out emotions, you know what I mean? But there are fun parts of coaching. And I just love to do that. I love the aha moments. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so when I did my balance wheel, I think I couldn't really come up with 8. And then Mona just gave me some suggestions. Well, what about this? What about this? And so she helped me fill in the ones I couldn't think about or couldn't think of at the time. And then, noting that 1 to 10 was just so perfect too. And then as I was discussing, I could actually fill in my square more comments, my personal comments, so I could remember what was really important and true for me at that time. And if you see my sheet, it's just filled in with notes all the way around and inside the balance wheel. So you get to just discover, your own deep truth about the balance in your life. So that is just, I had a great time with Mona. So.
I think it's very personalized. I think the more I'm taking a building program, business program right now, and they keep talking about this program is either a gym or it's a spa. Whatever you want to put into it, you can either put it in and use it as a gym, or you can use it as a spa. And I just love that analogy. And that's kind of like this wheel. Whatever you put into it, whatever makes you feel comfortable and happy is where you'll be.
That's so great. I love that analogy. I think life is a gym and a spa. Mm-hmm. You can balance both of those things. Okay, this is a gym, this is a spa. And, you can just have a spa moment by breathing deeply and, calming your body. So we can do that throughout the day. Very good. Very good. Melissa.
Danny, do you have a question for Mona?
What was the process of completing the wheel? And she did talk about the different 1 to 10, and then I filled in with how I filled in my sheet. So I think we got that covered.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, so which is great because that leads perfectly into my question. So once you're done, what are the next steps? Once you've done this wheel, and you've completed it, like what happens after that?
So I think this is probably the most impactful question. Because once you have this lovely, some people are very artistic, some are just very factual, but that wheel can take on many different forms and shapes. And now comes the fun part. I don't always call it homework because people hear homework and they're like, oh no, not me. I'm done. I'm not in high school. I'm done with college. But it's called action steps. And these are, part of the process that I was going to add for Danny, I'm just going to back up a little bit, is once you've done that, I'm going to give you time to sit back and look at that wheel that's finished. And I want you to process, think of possibilities, imagine, and then just invite them to look at what they've accomplished. And I might ask, and I would ask a few questions such as, what are you noticing? What do you know? Could one area of your life affect others? With more satisfaction in one area, what impact positively would that have in other areas? And then this is where Danny we'll use Danny as an example, chose 2 areas out of her balance wheel that she wanted to get a little more satisfaction in. And that's what leads us up to Melissa's question of what happens now. So this is where Danny and I, and any client that I work with, are going to discuss action steps. Now, we're going to assume, and I don't usually assume, but in this instance, we're going to assume that the client is going to be coming back maybe once a week for furthering coaching. So that person, Danny, I'll say she had a week to come up with 3 action steps. And we shoot for 3. Some people have more, some have less, but you don't want to be too overwhelming. So what Danny did is she looked at her pie chart and she picked out 3 action steps that she could do the following week that would bring a better satisfaction in those 2 areas. And then by looking at those changes, she could look at her whole balance wheel and say, wow, if I make changes in these 2 areas, yeah, she was good in a lot of them, it still would bring benefit to those other areas of the wheel. And so you may be looking at slice 6 and 8, but 1 through 5 have also improved.
Right.
And that's the fun thing, I think. And this is what I think people don't realize. Even in life, I don't think we think about it. Okay, well, if I change my finances hypothetically, how will that affect the rest of my life, my balance, how I'm feeling with satisfaction? Or if I choose to spend more time at the gym, how's that going to affect my family time or my work time? So that's one of the big things. And that's why I like people to take a step back and really see what they're noticing when they look at that balance wheel. Because sometimes we don't stop and breathe. We don't stop and relax. We just move. Boom, 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 boom. And that's why I like people to really look. Because even when you're writing, I'm this way. Sometimes I write things, and in coaching, I've really noticed you just tend to say things you don't normally say, or you didn't even know you had it inside of you. And when it's out and about, that's where that happens. So once they've done those action steps, I'm going to give you your wheel. Danny got to keep her wheel, and she can go home and post it and do whatever she wants to do. If we're doing a whiteboard, on Zoom, then there's ways to get that to the person. If we're meeting in person, we can take a copy, whatever it works. They're going to end up with that accountability, portion for them, and then they can move on. And like I said, this is where the value wheel might come in. Danny might come in the next week and say, hey, I worked on, let's say, health and fitness. And she could start her own value wheel then just on how to improve her health. And 8 things might be nutrition, exercise, finding a coach. Maybe she wants to work on the finances to make all that help. She wants weight loss, sleep, whatever her 8 items on that value wheel. We would just start the process over like we did with the balance wheel. But this time it's going to be on a value. It's one independent topic.
Yeah, and this is just one of Mona's tools. She has other tools like this, because I've been through another session of hers, and she helped me understand 3 really amazing things I didn't know about myself, because they were just like inside, and then when she asks you all these questions, you kind of put them together. It's amazing.
So
I think that's the beauty of it, right? Is because we like you were saying, we all get so involved in our own lives, and we need that other person to kind of remind us of who we are and what's been important to us. What we're doing isn't always what's really important in life, right?
Yeah.
So I really am excited, Mona, to come do a wheel with you.
Yeah.
I love this quote, you guys, that I found. It says the key is not to prioritize what is in your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. I love that. That's I saw that quote and I was just like, oh, that is so brilliant. And one thing that I thought of too, you could do with your balance is put it on a dream board. Like have it on your dream board, right?
I love dream boards.
Like right there, everything that matters to you, everything that's important, like maybe color it and make it look pretty and then put it on your dream board.
Yeah, no, even if you don't, scale it, take it to the full degree. I just love, in my heart, I'm a lot more settled when I'm organized. And that's just me. I'm not saying, but if I get things, and I'm a list maker, people laugh at me. Thanksgiving, I've got little Post-its all over my bar because I want to make sure I don't forget any food. And I pull off the Post-it when I place the food, right? But even if you just write down what's important in your life, that's what I think that balance wheel does. Where your time is going, just what your priorities are. Sometimes people don't even know, like we were talking with Danny. I know she's really into volunteering. I think that was when we looked at, right? I just suggested it. Not that I tell them what to put, and she goes, oh, I didn't even think about that. Oh my gosh, she's such a volunteer. But see, that's how sometimes just talking with someone else, a like I say, not unbiased person that's going to listen and listen to what you need.
Sure.
Yeah, and I read a quote recently, not a quote, but a concept of, well, it's actually something I created out of something else, but let me just tell you what it is. You have to go with what's true for you. So let me just admit this. Like coffee first thing in the morning is so essential to my well-being. I was trying to force myself, work out before you have coffee. And then that made workout my enemy because coffee is one of my pleasures. in life. And so I decided, I'm going to sit, I'm going to have coffee, I'm going to do my meditation, and then I'm going to work out. And it was giving myself a little bit of grace and working with what really is important to me and making working out next. Now, if I've got a meeting right away, then I might have to move that to work out before noon. And then if I don't even manage that, I can start my day over at any time. I can still work out before 5. I mean, I just fit my workout in a way that works with me so that working becomes just part of a pleasure. Working out becomes a pleasure and not, an enemy that I have to fit in. So just working with your, what's essential for your well-being, even if it's just a fun habit like drinking coffee. That's, just to give yourself grace. And that was for me, giving myself permission to work out any time of the day to make it work in so that it becomes easier to accomplish, actually. So just a little tip. And Mona helps you do that. Understand what's important to you.
And I think that's an example. Don't we all agree? It's what makes us work. It's what's best for us. We can't compare. I mean, we tend to, and I'm not saying, but we tend to compare and look at other people. And if your workout schedule is at midnight, great. If your workout schedule is at 4 a.m, great. We don't care. I mean, we do care, but we shouldn't care what works out for everybody else, right? And it's great to have a buddy. I get it. If you can have a buddy to work out, but if that doesn't happen, then it's what works for you that's best. And I think that's what the main thing about coaching is. Yeah, that's the main thing about coaching is what's for you, and it just needs to come out so that you can hear and see what's going on. That's what's best for you.
Perfect.
We're all individuals, but we all need each other, but we still can be our true selves.
Amen.
Oh, I love that. I love it, Mona. Thank you so much for being with us today. Can you tell everyone how that they can get a hold of you, like better on Instagram or Facebook?
I am on Instagram Journey of Purpose. I'm also Facebook Mona Smith or Journey of Purpose Personal Coach. And my email is journey_of_purpose@outlook.com.
Awesome. And we'll post that in the comments after the show as well, in case anyone missed it out there, anyone's watching. We'll post that in the comments. We have 2 minutes left. Any last minute thoughts, you guys?
I'm just right now, honestly, my mind is turning, thinking, what would I put on this balance wheel? What do I want to work on? I think, and I want to encourage entrepreneurs 100%. This is kind of like the SWOT analysis for the entrepreneur. So there's this SWOT analysis that you do for businesses, right? And it's a diagram of very similar. How do you determine whether this project or this launch is going to be effective, the most effective way? And I think to the same degree that we focus on business is the same degree we focus on who we are, because we are a reflection of our business. And when you think how often you should do this wheel, it's more often than you would like to admit. Because at the end of the day, we have to be honest with who we are. Like, what is more important, finance or family? In that, not to say that anybody has to decide, but it's good to know for yourself, like, where are you putting your energy today? And I'm thinking about it, and I think, like, I work with so many entrepreneurs who are very, like, they're busting at the seams to get to the next level. And I always am encouraging them, look, I don't help with this other part called you. Go find my friend Danny, go find my friend Mona, because if you want your business to truly be at the next level, you have to be at the next level. And I encourage that so greatly. And I just, whoever's watching now or for later, like, this is such a vital piece of success. There's no way you can reach success without first looking at you. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, I think we all change too. Don't you agree? I'll say every 6 months, but life changes. We improve, we step back, we go to the side. finances may be important today. Tomorrow it's my family, So
Right.
that's why this is, and you can do wheels. You can have multiple wheels in your life. I call them a value wheel. You can call them a balance wheel of work, a balance wheel of marriage, a balance wheel of children, however you want to do to make it work. And that's what you come to the coach with. I'm throwing ideas out there, but so I always like to tell people to enjoy the journey, be empowered, and live on purpose.
Oh, amen.
I love it, Mona. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So,
well, we are done for today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on Forward Friday. We will see you next week. We have Erin Pryor coming on next week. She is amazing. Super excited to talk with her. So, and we also have a YouTube channel. So please subscribe and tell everyone about that. And we'll see you next week at 9:30 a.m. Bye.
See you later. Thanks for having me, you guys. I love you.
We love you too, Mona. Okay, bye-bye.
Love you.